Right. So, deep bow. I'd like to welcome everyone to this live meditation experience without any limits. Any limits? Every now and again, it's really a joy to be limitless. We can put down our concepts of who we are and who we want to be, and especially who we were, right? Sometimes that's the worst or what we experienced. Um, what we do, we have a lot of complicated ideas about ourselves and the past and the future a lot of the time. And meditation and being in spiritual community is really a place where we can slough off, uh, take off that baggage of our past, our future, and we can really be alive, right? Now, prerequisite to meditation, to this kind of practice, is that you have to be interested in what's happening right now. If you're just not able to bring that quality to your mind of being interested in what's happening right now, in a kind of a present moment way, right? Like kind of a curious about the present moment and what's happening right now, then it's going to be nigh impossible to be in this kind of environment without being disruptive, for one, but especially to practice meditation is kind of, it's going to be completely out of the question, because you're not really interested, you're not really curious about the present moment or what's happening right now. So we first have to check in and see if that is something that interests us, if it's something that we consider to be valuable and meaningful. What's happening right now, present moment experience. For myself, I find that what's happening right now is, it really is a curious situation. Um, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to hear. There's a lot to feel. And I can also be aware of a broad spectrum of my experiences from the past and the future. But all of this is collected, coagulated, to the present moment. And so that's interesting and somehow quite meaningful. Now, when we gather in a space like this, it's really very experimental, because we are opening ourselves up to be vulnerable with one another and to be vulnerable with ourselves. But also, it's so accessible. Someone can just join in, they can show up. We don't have to get out of our bed to join a session like this or to be in an environment like this. So we have, we're going to have people we've had before, people who are smoking cigarettes or, very distracted on their camera, and it's obvious. And that can be, pulls us in, right? You see that and you can feel that. But if we're really curious, if we're really interested in the present moment, in what's happening right now, then every barrier, every difficulty, every confusion, every false perception that comes up it's not a point to get stuck on, but it's actually a entering point to enter into the present moment. This one particular moment in time when we are alive. If we are unable to maintain this present moment mind, this new present moment mind, then we will die, right? We won't be alive anymore. So when we practice mindfulness, when we start to bring our attention onto an object, something that's available to us right now, we're actually touching something that's very deep. And that is our aliveness itself, our reality itself, our life itself. So we're coming here to practice that together. Does anyone have any questions before we get into meditation? So someone asked on YouTube a question: how do we deal with heartbreak that does not seem to fade? You can recognize that it is fading even now. And that in the midst of the palpitation of our sickness and our suffering and our difficulty and our self-fixation, right? This someone at some place at some time, and tomorrow's probably going to be like this. Yesterday was kind of like that. Um, in the midst of that experience is impermanence and a capacity to be aware of impermanence. It's just that we have this really deep memory, this really deep ancestry of clinging, of attachment, of being like an animal. So we chasing after what we desire, and we doing our best to avoid and to run away from what we fear. So we're kind of constantly stuck in that trap and in the belief, in the validity, in the reality of that. But if we're interested in what's happening right now, that means that we can take a broader look at it. We can look from a wider perspective at what's happening right now. And so there's many things that are happening. And there may be that feeling of heartbreak. There may be that feeling of worry. There may be that desire for something sweet, for food. There might be a desire to drink something. There might be a desire to go to sleep. But there's also the freedom to not do any of that and to not to self-identify with any of those experiences, but actually to be aware of them and to offer out, to broaden out, to widen out. And when you're sick, you're sick. When you're depressed, you're depressed. When you're anxious, you're anxious. That's the experience. But it's not just that. And even your body is going to fade away. Whatever mental state you are in is going to fade away. Whatever idea or story you have about yourself is going to fade away. It's not going to stay around. It couldn't. And when we develop a relationship with our practice and with generosity, we truly get to experience that firsthand. That our complicated thinking, our worry, our self fixation, this self story, this real true person and a real true story is just temporary. And it's more changing than it is fixed. And you can know this and you can experience this and you can touch this in the same way that calamity is going to touch you, in the same way that sickness is going to find you, and old age is going to find you, and death is sure to find you. Whether it's mental or physical, it doesn't really matter. You can step into, you can feel, you can experience this present moment and this lack of dependence on self fixation, on the real true person and a real true story at a particular place in a particular time. And this can really be the joy of meditation, the happiness of meditation. I saw a quote recently that was to I can see it, but I can't remember it. But it's to remember to stop forgetting joy. Maybe it's a little bit more poetic than that. And when the opportunity is there, to really take advantage of it and to experience it quite directly, what's happening right now. So it's not just when we get sick, when we're having a panic attack, when we are depressed, when our mind feels unstable, when our body feels unstable. It's not just then that we exfoliate this experiencing of what's happening in our relationship to that, but it's also in the ideal conditions. It's also when the body is healthy and sitting comfortably, and when we are aware, able to be aware of our breathing, a meditation object. So, first things first, for our practice of meditation, we need to find a comfortable position for our body. We need to relax the body. We need to, John Brahm has the term. I've been listening to some of his talks recently and his guided meditations, and I feel inspired by him. This great, compassionate, wise, um, teacher, so a kind of enlightened teacher, Ajahn Brahm, and he coins this term of kindfulness. So a mindfulness or an awareness of what's happening right now, offering out our awareness to what's happening right now, and that offering out is inclusive of our body and our breathing. And then to offer kindness. And it is a practice. It's like a muscle. You go to the gym one day and you start to lift some weights. You're not transforming. You're not. It's not an elixir that you drink, and now you're uh, 10 times stronger. But it's a practice. It's a way of showing up. It's a way of being with the body and the mind. So offer your kindness and your awareness to the body right now by making sure that you're really in a comfortable and stable position. Stable means really that it is comfortable, and that it's not a halfway comfortable, but that you give a lot of that attention and consideration to making sure that your body is comfortable right now. Maybe you need a blanket, maybe you need to move your leg a little bit, or you need to lay down. And if there is any painful area or problem area that you notice, something that's painful, maybe you can try to ask that area, stomach or your knee or something, is there anything that I can do to help you to feel more relaxed, for you to feel better? You check in with your back or your stomach or your leg. And just also offer your kind awareness to that leg or that stomach, that pain or that uncomfortableness, whatever it is, just to offer your presence, your attention to that. And you can breathe in such a way where you are offering your kindness and your presence to that painful feeling. If there is one, if there's not a painful feeling, enjoy, right? You don't need to ask anybody, what, I'm not in pain, what do I do? Enjoy, right? So we have an interest in what's happening right now. We have an interest in the present moment. And that interest in the present moment brings us to a situation and a place where we are prioritizing to relax our body, calm our body down, give our kind attention to the body, put it down, be comfortable and in a simple position. Let's try to practice together a kind of sincere breathing, and a breathing that does really keep your attention on it, because you're breathing in such a way that is the way that you need to breathe right now, or that's nourishing for you right now. So you breathe in that way, and so you naturally feel your attention being brought to the breath. Don't be shy to breathe deep. Don't be shy to let the breath just kind of go, but breathe sincerely. And your sincere breathing as a magnifying glass for your kind attention. So, with your kind attention, just offer to all parts of the body. This can be especially nice and helpful if there is a place in your body that has some pain. breathing in this sincere and kind way and offering your full attention to the body and to being in the present moment and experiencing that. Nourishing this relationship with the present moment, breathing, kind and aware. A real willingness right now to be with what's there, with what sticks out, and to look at it, breathe into it. We can't always find ourselves in this relaxed, meditative experience. You don't need to, but rather to practice this putting the body down, nice, comfortable, lovely, relaxed position. Breathing sincerely, breathing with depth, and truly offering your kindfulness to whatever it is that is there. It's present right now, especially in the body. There's a lot to be said, and there's a lot that is said about deep meditation states and really being relaxed, really having this wonderful meditation experience. And I hope that whoever is hearing my voice, including whoever this is, that you have that kind of wonderful, deep, relaxed meditation experience. Go the full way, go as much as you can. But maybe it's not emphasized enough about in this. I know I don't emphasize it enough in my life, in this space of this new moment, this fresh moment, to take a refuge in the present moment, to take refuge in this capacity that I'm fully here right now. And there just seems to be so much to enjoy about that, something that's so healing about that. To breathe and meet myself right where I am. To breathe and meet this moment exactly as it is. There's that song, How Freeing It Is to Be Loved by You. And maybe this meditation, for me, meditating the right way, is that I'm almost singing that song to myself, but through the practice, through the way of being with myself, being my own soulmate, and all the joy and the nourishment and the healing and the freedom that goes along with that, being with your soulmate. All you need to do is breathe. Breathe and relax and enjoy. And this kind of meditation practice is so inclusive. It's so open. You change the position of your body, or you get distracted, or you need a drink of water. This way of practice can contain all of that. Not an issue. Each breath full of kindness, full of sincerity, full of depth, full of wholeheartedness. And offering that kind of empowerment that goes along with wholehearted breathing to any sufferings, any pains that are coming up in the body. Just to breathe and enjoy for a few moments this moment. It's not about being still. It's not about a particular kind of method or practice. More so, it's a matter of enjoying this present moment fully, relaxed but aware. And it's not about this place or this time or this person, me or you or anyone else, but it's to enrich, to exfoliate, to restart, to refresh, to broaden out, to widen out, to offer out that position that we take, that person that we take on, that place that we take on, that experience that we take on. And the breathing is a joy. The breathing is a caretaking for ourselves. I know in the past when I've dealt with anxiety or just difficult times, times of self fixation, right? You get stuck in a self position, a particular place, particular person, particular time, particular situation. And then I can become very self conscious about my breathing. I'm kind of worried about my breathing, or, am I breathing too loud, or how am I breathing, or am I breathing in a way, do I want to breathe this way, or is it a better way? And I feel that there's a part of this practice that is to exfoliate this relationship with your breathing so that there's no self consciousness about it. There's no secondary thought about your breathing, but you're breathing as an act of love, as a source of joy. And any way that that breathing is happening is wonderful. And the wonderfulness of that breathing, just entering into any tension, any tightness, any problem spot in the body. And we are breathing together because it's very simple what we're doing. So we are doing it as a community. We are practicing that together. And a joy of this way of being together, right? In this, through this kind of way, is that we don't need to be self conscious at all about our breathing. If we're all sitting close together, we do, you don't want to breathe too loudly or too erratically because that can, you start hyperventilating. It's very distracting. You go from being a wonderful, perfect meditator to being enraged at this person sitting next to you, who's breathing in such a strange way. But here we can breathe together and we can breathe as strangely as we want to. You don't need to be self conscious about it at all, because you're not disturbing anyone. It's just this breathing as an act of nourishing freedom, nourishing clarity and solidity. your eyes are closed, you can open them and kind of widen out and broaden out your vision. Don't just focus on one thing in particular, but more opening out or broadening out. And if your eyes have been open this time, you can try out closing them and kind of broaden out and open out into that and see what that's like. This sense of curiosity and this sense of enjoyment are essential to meditation. This sense of exploration, not taking your position or your, oh, I feel like this meditation went like that. You just abandon that. You offer that out continuously during the meditation practice. Don't get fixated on it. We practice in such a way where it's not constrained by this place, this time, this overarching situation that you imagine yourself to be in or that you really are in, even, whatever it is. But we practice in this way where it's unconstrained. It's a limitless entering into the breath as unknown territory. Each breath new, fresh, in the present. Not our usual way of seeing, not our usual way of being. This is a way of mindfulness and detachment, mindfulness and renunciation coming together. This is also a place where we can enjoy our purity and our innocence. And yeah, all those other things come up. Ego says, hey, wait a minute, I know about you. You're not so pure, you're not so innocent. In very subtle ways, it does that, right? But say, okay, well, breathing, right? Really coming home to the present again. And understand that this purity and this innocence this freedom mind, this Buddha mind is at the core of your life. You is at the core of all people, all beings. This is the ground. This is a quality of the ground. You can apply some force, you can apply some effort, but always do so with this mindfulness of kindfulness, this mindfulness of relaxation, gentleness, softness. And this is what we come back to. This is what we come home to in the everyday ordinary life. Big problem, big situation, big relationship, big fear, big sickness. Mental or physical doesn't really matter. It's just a sickness, right? Something comes up. We abandon that reliance on self-fixation in relationship to that person, that place, that time, that sickness that's within those, right? This person that's sick now, in this place. We abandon. So how? Well, you relax and put the body down. Come home to your breathing. Broaden out, widen out. Release, refresh, restart. Now, once you relax, you can abandon, you can offer out. We prioritize relaxation in our life, not just by alcohol or YouTube or TikTok or opiates. Opiates are very relaxing, right? Um, No, not just by something or some place or some time, but actually by practicing to offer out our self fixation. So instead of running from this place to that place and being involved in this situation with that person, you come home to your breathing and you put the body down like a baby. The baby gets worked up, gets excited. It's too much. You use all of your skills, all of your capacities, but not giving it, it's the difference between giving an iPad to a baby when they're upset and nurturing them and tending to them, caring for them, gentling to them. And you come home to your breathing. You come home to your walking. You can come home to some singing, even, right? We have Plum Village songs, which are great tools that we can use. Then once we relax that self-fixation, it's not just that we're relaxing because that's still in the created truth. That's still in the relative, relaxed or not relaxed. But actually that place when we are relaxed allows us to abandon, to give up fully. Now it's not someone, it's not some place, it's not some time, it's not some scale of enlightened to unenlightened, of sick to well, of strong and weak. It's beyond that. There are many methods for attending to a baby, taking care of a kitten, taking care of a puppy, the taking care of the baby inside of you. And an iPad is one of them. But we're already skillful to relax with the iPad. We're already skillful to relax with our technology or drinking or using opiates, right? They're just not giving it to us. I'm skillful at it, but I don't have any, right? So you don't need to worry about that at all. You've got it down, relaxing on YouTube, etc., and you'll make use of that. But with the more contemplative and motherly and parental way, a wisdom, a compassionate way, wisdom way of relaxing and taking care of that baby inside of us. It's just the prioritization that we give to that. If you're hearing this, hopefully you know about, we have our community, our Discord community, Buddhism, right? There are people here, they know about things. So it's, if you have that prioritization, if you have that intentionality to take care of that baby in you, um, there are many ways to go about it, many different meditation methods, many different ways of breathing. But it's that prioritization, that intentionality, that sincerity to do it, to take care, to be good. All right. So feel free to open your eyes if they're closed. Feel free to stretch and change your position a little bit if you like. You can also massage your face. Very good. Does anyone have a question or like to share their experience during this practice? Okay, and sleep, right? Sleep. Chesh, wonderful Chesh just said that this meditation gave them the insight that they need to go to sleep. They're staying. It's too late, Chesh, right? So that's it. Like I said, I've recently been looking at some Ajahn Brahm, and it's incredible. There are these resources out there. You don't need to not make use of Ajahn Brahm. You don't need to not make use of him. So it's a lot of possibility there. And he when he does a retreat, this is like a great meditation master, world changer, this uncomprehendable human being. When he does a meditation retreat, he tells people to go to sleep. Those first few days, he just says, if you're tired, just go to sleep, get your rest. That's what you should do. That's what you should practice. But it's the consistency in showing up and prioritizing the path in your life. And then reaching out for help, making use of resources, right? In Buddhism, we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So there's a Buddha, there's a being that became fully enlightened. Well, I can trust in that. That's if somebody's walking around fully enlightened, I'm going to feel very wonderful by being around them, trusting in them. The Dharma, that's the Buddhist teachings, and the Sangha, that's the spiritual community, meditation community. And there's many avenues for this. So we can take refuge. We can have a lot of support.
So I have a question that I've been thinking about that I would like a little bit of clarity
Great, go ahead.
for. You mentioned a few sessions back, um, I don't exactly remember what, but you talked about karma, and I've been more mindful and more aware of the concept of karma. And when I've become more aware of it, I've noticed some of its benefits sometimes. Um, I've noticed that when I put myself out there a little bit more, and when I take one step towards the world might sometimes take one step back towards me. Um, I feel like a problem that I've been running into though is almost becoming a mercenary in that sense. I feel like I've only really taken to self-care towards myself because I'm expecting, well, maybe something good might happen, and I find that that's very insincere, and I'm not I find myself not wanting to take care of myself to purely take care of myself because I deserve it. I find it because I'm like, well, good's gonna happen to me. So like I find myself expecting, and I don't know if that's the most sincere way to think about it.
No,
Um
this is just a free. So you do freely, and you do freely when you have expectation. You do freely when you want to get something out of it. It doesn't really matter. It's not actually important. What's
Mm.
important is that you are a mercenary of the Dharma. But if it's just self-fixated, then there are going to be problems that come up from that, because you're not separate from anything else. You're not separate from anyone else. So if you're just trying to, improve the things that you can get, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a confusion. So just keep up with it. Do good deeds more and more. Practice generosity more and more. And practice that detachment, like we talked about in this meditation, right? That it is to gentle, it is to calm, it is to relax. But then once that relaxation is there, you can also touch that to abandon. Some person at some place at some time. And you can develop a relationship with that.
Mhm.
That there is this cause and effect, and there is also cause and effect only, that has no correspondence to some particular person in some particular place at some particular time, because it's way beyond that. Yeah, just keep going, and that extra energy that you get when you start to practice like this, you have to you reach a point in the front line. You reach your boundary in life, and you're saying, wow, look at all that I've conquered. You continue, right? But you continue in your virtue. You continue to look at the 5 precepts. Don't kill, don't steal, don't be more vegetarian, don't lie, speak harshly, be very careful with your sexual conduct, don't take intoxicants. So what can you abandon? Not only what can you get from doing more and more, but also what can you abandon by doing more and more? What can you put down? What can you be free from?
I
We,
guess I find myself,
yeah.
sorry, I guess I find myself having a hard time abandoning the hope and expectation of something good coming my way. Like, I think I like doing good things for myself and taking care of myself for my own sake. It does feel good. I appreciate that I do it for myself, but I have a hard time putting down and abandoning that expectation of in the back, even if it's just in the back of my head of just like, well, if I do this, there's like 3 points of good that should be coming my way. Like I think of it in terms of like almost a sort of credit of like if I do good, well, then it'll be coming my way. And
And
I
we
have a hard time abandoning.
Yeah, we all do. We're all in that situation. So you abandon even that. And that's accessible, of course, right? You go and take a bath. You're not, well, you might be fixated on it. Um, but it's not that important. It's just cause and effect. You're aware that cause and effect is real, but you should also be aware that you don't fully grasp cause and effect, and you cannot fully control cause and effect. But
Mm.
you can do more and more. And your capacity to detach, that is to be aware that if you plant a mango seed and you attend to that mango seed, what kind of, what kind of tree do you think is going to come out of there?
Mango tree.
But we don't need to have a conniption about that, right?
What do you mean?
It means that you just let it be the way that it is,
Hmm.
and you continue. In the doing, doing only is available to you. In the experiencing, experiencing only is available to you. In the giving up or the giving away only is available to you. So your lack of experiencing it in the way you might want to experience it without that is also there. Without
Mm.
that fixation on like what you're going to get out of it, that's also there. But your mind's just trying to, that selfishness or that self fixation is trying to grab onto you somehow. So you offer it out. You say, great, I'll just do more. I don't care. That's great, but I'm not going to get stuck on it. That's okay. You can also, that's okay, that's fine. Right? You planted a mango seed, you're taking care of it. There's probably going to be a mango tree that comes up from it. And this can happen moment by moment, and that's fine. That's okay. No big deal. Don't take it too seriously. Take the doing only, the experiencing only, the breathing only quite, seriously or sincerely. Don't take the secondary thinking too seriously, because it's just something that's coming up and trying to get you involved with it. You don't need to be involved with it. You need to be uninvolved with the involvement. Understand?
Mm. Yeah, I think I'm kind of more or less realizing that I'm living in a future anxiety of the anxiety of hope of something good coming my way, and I don't feel like I do these good deeds for myself and take care of myself in a very present way. I'm thinking about the future. I'm anxious about what good is going to come my way from it, but I don't think I'm really thinking in the present when I'm doing those things because I'm focused on what's going to happen because of it.
You need to detach from your understanding. Your
Mm.
understanding is self fixated and dualistic and shallow.
I
Now,
guess my
that's not
final question.
personal. That's not personal. It's a matter of be us as human beings having this predisposition to be dualistic and shallow and to have
Mm.
misperceptions and nonsensical thoughts that to come up and we get involved with them. So prioritize the refreshing and the restarting, the offering out. You aware of that and you offer it out. You offer it to the trees, just like you offer your breath. You can breathe in a normal way or in a regular self-fixated way. Breathing for me, whatever, you're not even conscious of it. But then you can also breathe in such a way you're aware and you're offering your breath out for all beings, all organisms, all the trees. Yeah, what do you want to say?
I I guess I've allowed myself to kind of be fixated on this anxiety in the name of karma, and I guess I'm maybe thinking that I have some misconceptions and maybe thinking about karma in the wrong way,
Yeah,
or
that's
thinking about
right.
cause and effect in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not sure what I
You're
should base.
Well, you should base it in your intention and an awareness of the effects from you acting out on that intention. Simple.
What do you mean?
So, if you act out from an intention to give your body as much pleasure as you can, so like as much desire as you can, well, you're probably going to go and search for some kind of substance that's very dangerous, right? Like a heroin or something like that. That would be the way to do
Mhm.
it, right? Or a lot of
Right.
alcohol. For some people, that's alcohol. So the effect of that is probably not going to be that you feel lovely and wonderful the next day or the days moving forward, right? So you
Mhm.
just keep aware of, okay, I've been acting along these certain lines for this period of time, just today. Don't make it this big thing, but just today. How do I feel? How do you feel the next morning? Right? How do you feel over that period of time? Is there more wholesome states of mind or are there less?
Mhm.
Leave it at that. But sometimes we get sick. Okay. The confusion that you may be having, I'm not fully sure, but is that you are equating you think that you're planting a mango seed in the dirt, and that you're fixated on that that's going to grow up to be a mango tree, and that that's stressful for whatever reason, or that this cause is going to lead to that effect, and that's kind of
Yeah.
intense, right? But what's actually happening is that you are, let's say, 150 feet tall, and you're holding a massive bushel of all seeds that have ever existed, or at least as much as you can, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of seeds, and you are throwing them all over the place. Because moment by moment, we are acting, we are making actions from our intention. So you can't grasp it that way. You can't know it that way. But you can know your intentionality, you can know your sincerity in the present moment, and you can work with that.
Hmm.
That's what you can work with. But the specifics of cause and effect, you need to be like super enlightened, living in a cave, the mind in absolute stillness, etc. So you don't need to overthink it, because you're being good. You're doing good. When we do bad, when we act out from an unskillful, selfish, primarily self-fixated intention, right? Selfish has some connotations that are problematic, I think, but acting out from a self-fixated intention about this body at this place at this time and getting this out of it, now you're in a trap. Now you need to think a lot. But when you are acting from this place of to offer out, to abandon, to be generous, to let go, to refresh, to restart, that's something different. You don't need to think about it. Rather, you can nourish yourself on your goodness, this spaciousness of mind, this open heartedness, this gentleness, because you know that that's kind of where you're at and what you're working with. And you don't need to think about it. You need to do about it, doing more and more in a lovely, fresh, good way. You don't need to think about it when you pet a kitten, when you hold a cat sweetly. What do you need to think about? Cause and effect. I mean, you can have some awareness. I just moved to this. I've had some things going on, and I'm at a different temple now. My teacher instructed me to come here, and there's cats here. And at the temple I was at before, there's not any cats, so naturally you don't get attached to the beautiful fuzzy animals, because we don't have them up there. Here we do. So you go to start hug and love that cat, and now when it's sick and dying, how are you going to feel? You get attached to it, right? But it's like, relax, hug the cat. If you don't want to hug the cat anymore, relax, step back. And you're mindful of cause and effect, but you're not stuck in cause and effect. You're not fixated on cause and effect. You are fixated on to let go, to abandon, to offer out whatever it is that this is important, this is true, this is real, da 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 da. I mean, sometimes you get sick, so that's when it's really like you have to be a meditation master to transform that. But otherwise, general stuff, you practice in this light and lovely and gentle way to offer out, and to to not take so heavily these experiences that we tend to have. Not to worry too much about it, but to be aware of the reality of cause and effect, and then to act out more and more from this good, wholesome intention.
Mhm. I think I'm realizing that I've been a little bit more self-fixated in my thoughts when I could give myself more of the capacity to offer out.
Yeah. And to enjoy that. It's like
Yeah.
because sometimes we do get sick, right? That's why did the Buddha leave behind his life? It wasn't because, we just have a choice, we're going to live wonderfully all the time, unless we, act unskillfully, and then we will have difficulty. It's not like that, because okay, so the Buddha would just live skillfully in his house, whatever that means. No, you're going to get sick. You're going to die. This body is going to dissolve, right? There is pain there. Sickness happens. So it's not about how we prevent sickness from happening or prevent the cause, the effect from our cause, but it's how we free ourselves from cause and effect, from the self fixation that relates to cause and effect. And that's to bless, to free, to abandon, to offer out, to not take yourself so seriously, not take your thoughts so seriously. But to do that and to be skillful at doing that, you have to practice doing that, right? You have to go for walks in nature. You have to be in a space, in a community environment like this. You have to explore. You have to go outside of your boundary zone that yourself is able to just be stuck in and see that, oh, yeah, I was anxious to come here, but actually it's just fine. And here I am, and this is it. And there's not that much to think about. But it's certainly wonderful to be able to breathe and enjoy that. And I don't need complicated thinking to do that. So this is a real, like a freeing, a blessing. It's not the normal way of seeing things or normal way of thinking. It's more, it's quick and it's maybe easy to gloss over, but it's also very alive and fundamental. You know, that's our Buddha essence or our freeing essence, our untangling essence that's available to us and that's not really very complicated. And if you want to apply extra energy to the realm of cause and effect, make sure you look at the 5 precepts. You know, look at how you're consuming. But that's just that you look at it and you practice with that intentionality. And you'll see through your experience what the effects are. But not according to what you think. It's through what the seeing, the experiencing. And that's also what can free you.
I definitely think I have a lot to think about now, and I think that
Well,
definitely guides my thinking a lot more.
well,
And I thank you a lot for that.
just understand that a mango seed makes a mango tree, and you don't need to think about it for that to be true.
Mm.
Okay. Anyone else have
Thank-
a, yeah, thank you. Sincerity. Does anyone else have a question or want to share their experience? Find a way to live a meaningful life, and your addictions will reduce. If you don't get involved with living a meaningful life, the addictions will put you in a position where it's very, very difficult to live a meaningful life. So take what you have already, a somewhat stable mind, a somewhat healthy body, somewhat is more than enough, and start to look for and reach out for a way to live a meaningful life. Period. And then the addiction isn't that interesting because you're too busy helping other people and doing good, bringing benefit, offering out. You don't have all that extra time for the addiction. My goodness, we only have so much time. You got to take a rest. And this is a way to transform that addicted habit energy is to do more and more. Right? Do good deeds more and more. Live a meaningful life more and more. And the more that you do it, the more you will be able to actualize your capacity for doing it in the greatest way, in the deepest way. It's not about busyness. Meaningfulness isn't busyness, right? That's ridiculous. Meaningfulness is doing good more and more, taking care more and more, offering out more and more with a deep consideration, a deep sincerity, a wholeheartedness. Right? You help people. So many people need help. You need opportunities for doing good deeds, really. And there are ways to find them. A lot of people need help. All right, so let's finish with a song, okay? Does anyone have their song book in front of them? Probably not. That's okay. So we're gonna sing the song. Do you know any of these songs, Kevin or Lucas? Lucas, do you know any of these songs? Have them memorized? Oh my goodness. Lucas, how about you? You ever heard?
It depends which one.
Well,
I've heard of
we've got happiness is here and now. We've got breathing in, breathing out. We got the island
I've heard the
within.
first one.
Huh?
Heard the first one,
Um,
and that's
which one? Which one is that?
happiness here and now.
Happiness is here and now. That's a classic. Karuna, I know you know that one, right? You don't need to look it up. And Kevin, you know it too? Little bit. A little bit's enough. So Karuna, please unmute, and Lucas unmute, and Kevin, and anyone else in our wonderful community here that is able to unmute their microphone. We're all going to sing together. This is a practice, okay? And if you're at home and you're not here in the Discord, that's also just fine. You sing along with us. All right, we'll do it 2 times. If you don't know it very well, then you can listen the first time, and the second time you can join along. Okay. Give me one moment here. All right. Here we go. You can take a deep breath in. We'll sing happiness is here and now. Make sure there's a smile on your face. Kevin, I'll be looking for that smile. All right. Deep breath in. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. Okay, one more time, and if you didn't sing that time, sing this time. And this is a practice, and this can bring a lot of joy and a lot of refreshment to the self-fixated hug bug, um, or no, what is a Scrooge, a humble bug. All right, all right, here we go. Happiness is here now. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. All right, that's all, folks. Thank you all for being here. May you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. I'm building the schedule that we're going to start having. We're going to have more regular classes, probably twice daily, one earlier and one a little bit later. So I'll post that in the coming days and look forward to continue practicing with all of you. Take care.
Sadhu, sadhu.